Can you really become a great writer by hand copying the manuscripts of great writers? One of the first things that we're told that you don't do in the educational system from a very young age is to copy. I remember back in the dark ages when I was in 5th grade, a teacher wrote up on a chalkboard, which was truly chalk and green at that time. She wrote the word plagiarism. And she said, this is something that you never do. First time I encountered that, and I learned that it meant that you don't copy. So we have it ingrained, don't copy, and did I say it? Don't copy. And yet, this is one of the great ways to learn how to write. Now, we don't copy. You do not copy and pass off other people's work as your own. That's wrong. It's intellectual theft. But as part of the learning process, there is so much to be said for copying. And I want to go over 4 ways in which copying manuscripts of great writers can go a long way toward helping you become, if not a great writer, definitely a lot better. Number 1, commitment. If you will take the time and effort to take some paper, we can grow a few more trees if we need to. Take some paper, pencil, and take a famous work. Now, for instance, one work that we're going to be using as a text in my summer speed reading program in 2013 is Crime and Punishment. So let's say you took Dostoevsky's great novel, Crime and Punishment, and you chose to copy that word for word. Well, it would take you a long time, and you might not even get through it. You might not even get through the first chapter. You might not even get through the first 10 pages. But what you would learn would take you a long way. Because, as I said, the first point is commitment. You have made a commitment to turn off that smartphone, to screen out all outside distractions. You have made that commitment. And in that moment of commitment, you have risked getting writer's cramp from holding a pencil. And in that commitment, suddenly you start to see an investment. Commitment is a very important part of learning that's greatly overlooked now. You know, too often the concern is about the self-esteem of the student, the patting them on the back. But it's the commitment that makes greatness. So number 1, when you hand copy a book, is a way of learning to become a great writer from hand copying a great work such as Crime and Punishment. You have a commitment. Number 2, you learn the hidden internal structure of the author's writing. As those words go down on paper, you learn the cadence of the way the author writes. Does he write with long, short, and then medium sentences? When does the author vary the length of a sentence? What does he decide to do to change the length of that sentence? When does she decide that it's time for a change-up? Learning the cadence is a huge thing. This is what makes great writing. Having 2, 3 long sentences punctuated by a short sentence is very powerful writing. One of the greatest writers of all time, Ayn Rand, she wrote a tome, a very long novel, called Atlas Shrugged. And in it, she would periodically use the sentence, check your premise. Check your premise. It was a 3-word sentence, but it drilled like a pneumatic jackhammer through the pavement of the text. It is powerful to have short, powerful sentences alternating with the longer and medium. So that's one part of the internal structure. Another part of the internal structure that you learn when you hand copy your work is vocabulary choice. One thing common among great writers, even though they have their own style as much as we have our own fingerprints, one thing common among great writers is they alternate their vocabulary. Repeatedly using the same word becomes annoying to the reader. It becomes like the old proverbial scratching on a blackboard, hearing a cat screech, whatever analogy you choose to use. For instance, if instead of using the very common conjunction but, if you periodically change that up into but, however, in contrast, despite, this relieves the reader. This is important. This is very important, the internal structure. I'm going to pick this up on the next recording. If you have any questions, contact me at Darryl Hold, tutorpro88 @gmail.com, affordable-tutor.com.